Hey guys, we are back for yet another reaction video. I did one last night. I'm doing another one tonight. Hopefully I do a better job tonight. And tonight I'm going to be going through my Netflix watch history. Ooh, another really exciting video. Now, I already went through my Amazon Prime Video watch history, and it was like almost 2.5 hours. So I don't want to spend that much time on this one compared to that one. Now with that one, I basically just went through my watch history and I went through every single movie I watched, and I tried to sort of review it very shortly, a very short review. And I tried to say something about the movie, something that I liked, something that I didn't like, if there were any hot actresses on it. And if, by the way, if I forgot about a hot actress, I apologize. I know they're watching, and I know they're interested in these reviews that I'm doing, but I'm sorry. It's hard to remember all of them, so I'd like to apologize from the bottom of my heart. And so, however, with the Amazon Prime Video that I did, 2.5 hours, but there were literally 100 videos, so. 100 videos. So that was, I spent less than 2 minutes on each video, on each review. Now, my Netflix one only has like 60, 69 or 70, something like that, 65 to 70. So even if I spend the same amount of time, it's going to be shorter anyway, which is really nice. But I also want to try and make the reviews even more concise, which I don't even know if that's possible. So I'm going to try my best to do it really quickly. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so so the reason I was doing this was because I mentioned in the previous video, I've been watching a lot of movies over the last several months. Not so much the last 1 or 2 months. I've switched over to my DVD collection. I'm currently rewatching The Outer Limits from 1995. Really good show. I'm on season 4. Only a couple episodes left of season 4. Then I'm on to season 5. So there are 7 seasons of that. But I started watching movies on Tubi. And then I switched to Netflix, and then I switched to Amazon Prime. So we did Prime. Now we're going to Prime Video. Now we're going to Netflix. And unfortunately, Tubi doesn't have a watch history. It has like a watch list that you can add movies to, but it doesn't have a watch history. It doesn't show you what you actually watched. And so I wasn't going to do a Tubi video, but then I started thinking, I could just go to the Tubi website. And I can, because when I would watch a movie, I would remove it from my watch list, because the watch list only has a set amount of titles that you can add to it. And I had added so many titles, but I think I can go to the Tubi website and just pick a genre, because I only watched 1 or 2 different genres. It was either horror or sci-fi. And I'll just go through all the list of movies that's on Tubi. And if I see one that I watched, I'll click on it and I'll talk about it. So that will be a future video. But tonight we are going to do Netflix. Okay. So, by the way, you can just ignore this. Christopher Robbins. you can ignore that. So this one. So last time I watched on Netflix was September the 3rd. What day is it today? November 9th. Okay. So that was over 2 months ago. Little while. So Gamer, this was Gerard Butler. I didn't finish this movie because it ended up being an action movie. I don't want to watch action movies. I was more interested in this due to there are some aspects of sci-fi in this movie. The idea was cool. It was sort of like people can control another person. It's like you're playing a real version of a video game. And so there are these inmates who I don't know if they sign up for it or not, but then they sort of fight each other. And you have these people, these video game players who are controlling the real people by some sort of, I don't know if they have something implanted in their head or something like that. Yeah, but it was interesting. However, it was more of an action movie than sci-fi. So I never finished watching this. Your Lucky Day. I went through a couple of these just before I started the video, just so I could sort of refresh my memory a little bit. My monitor just died. I don't know why it does this. I don't know how to make it better. How am I supposed to fix this? It says no signal. Check the input connection. Like, go fuck yourself. Fucking bullshit. Okay, it's back. Like, and now everything's fucking moved. Like, oh my God. You probably couldn't even tell, but my monitor just died. Fuck. If that happens again, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Your lucky day. So this was a confrontation where the lottery winner turns lethal. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people in a convenience store. There's some businessman guy. There's this woman here who's pregnant. She's like a waitress or something. There is like this wannabe rapper hustler guy who's got a gun. And then there's a cop as well. And so this businessman guy, he buys a lottery ticket and he wins. And he wins a whole bunch of money, like millions of dollars. And then, the wannabe rapper guy, the hustler, he goes to, he wants to take the lottery ticket from him, but then the cop sees him, and the cop starts shooting. The cop ends up killing the businessman. And then, so there's this whole thing around the lottery ticket. Everyone in the store wants the lottery ticket, wants a piece of the action of the lottery ticket. And so they form alliances and then there's like some crooked cops later on. I thought this was a good movie. I enjoyed this movie. So I would recommend watching this. Apparently the guy who played the hustler is dead. He died. He wasn't even 30 years old, I don't think. He was an actual rapper, I think, or something. I don't know. He played a good character. Like he did well in the movie. The Platform, I did not watch this because it was dubbed. I didn't realize that at the time, so I can't say anything about this. This On the Line, this was Mel Gibson's in this. He plays a shock jock. And I didn't watch 25 minutes of it. I forget. I don't think I got there yet, but I wasn't really interested in the movie, so I stopped watching it. The Black Phone, I tried to watch this. You know, you go on Netflix, you go to watch a movie, and it says, oh, this is number whatever, like this is number one. Lots of people are watching this. And so I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll watch it. And I don't know. So this guy plays Ethan Hawke. He plays like a serial killer, I think, who abducts children. And so this was set back in the 80s, I think. And then, so eventually, I watched a bunch of it. I watched 43 minutes of it, but it got to the point where, so this, I think it's this young girl here. She can sort of see these abductions before they happen, like a day or so before they happen, I think. And she has a brother who's just a little bit older than her, and he gets taken. And then, so it goes into where he's held captive, and Ethan Hawke is like wearing a mask or something, and that's it sort of lost me after that. So I never finished that movie. The Stepfather. Okay. So this is a remake of a classic 80s movie, an 80s horror movie where the Stepfather. So this guy, he used to have a family, but he killed everyone in his family, and then he sort of took over a new identity. And then he seems like a perfectly normal guy at first. He sort of seeks out a single mother, and he wants to become a family with them again. And then the whole thing happens all over again. He starts to seem crazy. He's like really controlling, and then he ends up trying to kill his new family. And then the cycle repeats again. And so there was the original 80s movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty no. It's actually, yeah, this is why I have it up here. Because this is the 2009 version, but there is a sequel. So this is the original, The Stepfather. There's also The Stepfather 2. I think there may even be a third one. But this is the 2009 version. I watched it because I've seen the original, which I really enjoyed. It was basically the same plot. So I'm assuming it's Dylan Walsh. he sort of moves into town after killing his previous family. And he forms a relationship with his single mother. And, he ends up, I think probably the first person he kills is, I don't know if it was the neighbor or if it was the ex-husband. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed this movie because I've seen the original. Amber Heard is in this movie. She either plays, so the lady that he starts a relationship with, she has at least 2 kids. One of them's like, I don't know if he's in high school or if he's going to college or not. I think he's going to college. But Penn Badgley, I think that guy was in Gossip Girl, I believe. And so he ends up coming home. His girlfriend is Amber Heard in this movie. She's 23 at the time, or she's like 20 something, early 20s. But she has a couple of extremely hot bikini scenes, very graphic bikini scenes. She's not naked or anything, but they're very nice. So I would recommend that movie as well. Freaks. This features Amanda Crew. I love Amanda Crew. Nice, good old Canadian gal. Very hot girl. But she doesn't have a huge part in this. She does have a big part, but she's not on screen that much. She plays the mother of this girl here. And so at the beginning of the movie, this young girl here is sort of held captive in her house by her father, who seems like a crazy person. All of the windows are like blocked out. And so you think that he's like abusing her or something like that. But it turns out, and it also, like, the camera goes outside and you see everyone else seems completely normal. But it turns out, you figure out later in the movie that she has like some sort of mental powers. Same with her father, same with her mother. Her mother is being held in like some mountain under a guard, under military guard. And she's like able to communicate with her telepathically somehow, but she doesn't know how. She has like really strong powers, but she's a little kid, so she doesn't know how to use them very much. But I really like this movie. I did enjoy this movie a lot. Circle. Oh my God, Circle. I love this movie. So this was also like the exact type of movie that I wanted to watch when I watched it. When did I watch this, by the way? Circle 901, so September 1st. And it was the last movie I watched that day. So I don't know if this was like what I watched just before going to sleep or if I watched this while eating supper. I don't know, but I think it was after supper, yeah. And so I was looking for a movie to watch, and then I came across this one, and I read the little synopsis here. When a group of strangers is seized and awaits execution, they face the impossible task of choosing the one person among them worthy of being spared. And so I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll choose it. I'll watch it. And so virtually the entire movie happens in this little room here, in this dark room. So there are 50 people arranged in a circle. They're standing on these red dots, and then you have these arrows, and then you have this like sphere in the middle, this black sphere in the middle. And so the movie opens up in this room, and everyone's standing around. They're like, what are we doing here? And then this sphere, it's sort of, there's like electricity in it, and all of a sudden it zaps someone and they're dead. And then everyone starts freaking out, and anyone who leaves their circle gets zapped and gets killed. And then and so they figure out that after a couple minutes, someone gets zapped. So it's like on a timer every couple minutes or something. And if you leave your circle, you get zapped. And they also figure out that just before someone gets zapped, they can choose who gets zapped by moving their hands or something. And then it'll show who gets zapped on these arrows here. And so people keep getting zapped. There's 50 people. They're all like random people. So all different kinds of people. And so then they eventually start trying to figure out who deserves to live, who deserves to die. And there's arguments and stuff like that. But I love this movie. It sort of reminded me of the movie Cube. I don't know if that's an accurate, similarly accurate. Holy shit, look at the visualization here. That's intense. I don't think I've seen it like that before. I don't know. They're not that similar, but I mean, in Cube, they're going through all these different cubes in this giant cube, and some of them are deadly, some of them aren't. So it's sort of similar. It's like a gimmick movie, but I really enjoyed it. I love this movie. And then at the very end of the movie, I think, because people keep dropping, people keep dropping because they're getting zapped, and then there's eventually, I think, 2 people left, and one person ends up winning, I think, and then they get sent back to Earth, I guess. And I think it's like these are alien ships, but I would definitely. How did I not? Yeah, I double thumbs up it. Yeah. Good movie, great movie. Spiderhead, I did not watch this. Oxygen, I didn't watch this. Cloverfield Paradox. Yeah, so I did watch this. Apparently there's a bunch of Cloverfield movies. And I think this is the only one I've seen. It involved, there was it's like a spaceship. So let's read the synopsis here. Orbiting above a planet on the brink of war, scientists test a device to solve an energy crisis and end up face to face with a dark alternate reality. So they go into outer space for some reason. I'm not sure why, but they were testing this form of energy, like a renewable form of energy or something like that. And they end up sort of transporting themselves into an alternate reality. And so the Earth is like slightly different, and I really liked it though. And then I think at the end they do put it back to normal. All right, so what's next? Cloverfield Paradox, Mirage. What is this? Yeah, the Cloverfield Paradox, that was the last one that I watched, that I sort of perused before making the video. So now I'm on to new territory. Mirage, playing a loving mother desperate to get back her daughter, Adriana. Yeah, I think this is also, Spanish. I didn't watch this. This was dubbed, I believe. iBOY. Okay, I like this movie. What the hell, man? Why didn't it... I have this... Fucking God. I have this extension. My monitor is cut out again, but it came back really quickly. I have this extension that when you click a link, it automatically goes to it. Yeah, it just did it now, but it... Okay, whatever. My computer is just going crazy now. So iBOY. So I guess this could be considered to be a superhero movie. I hate superhero movies. I don't give a shit about them. I think they're stupid. Marvel and whatever else. I don't get them. This one is like British, and it features Maisie Williams. She was in Game of Thrones, apparently. I haven't seen that show, but I know she's from there. So I think she plays a high school chick, and then there's a guy in her class. He's sort of nerdy, I guess, and he gets bullied a little bit. So, and then they plan to meet up together to study or something, and he goes to her apartment, and then there are some guys there who are like robbing them or something, and then so he ends up, and then they see him, and then they start chasing him away, and then he has his phone up to his head like this, and I guess he's calling the police, and then they end up shooting him. And the bullet goes through the phone and then sort of grazes his head. And then somehow he gets the ability to affect electronics with his mind. So I don't know. It's definitely not realistic, but it was interesting. And so then, there's a bunch of like the bad guys. They like peddle drugs and that all that sort of stuff. And so he tries to sabotage them, and I did enjoy this movie. Yeah, even though it was a superhero movie, it was a British superhero movie, and it wasn't stupid like the American superhero movies. So I did enjoy this movie. My monitor keeps going black. I mean, you could probably tell because it goes black, and then you probably can't see a reflection on my face, like a light on my face, I should say. There's this arc. This one I remember liking. Yeah, was this another... No. I was going to say, was this another Amanda Crew movie? No, it was not. Robbie Amell. I feel like I don't know the name, but I remember recognizing him. So this was trapped in a lab and stuck in a time loop. A disoriented couple fends off masked raiders while harboring a new energy source that could save humanity. Yeah. So apparently in this version of Earth, there's some sort of energy crisis again. And so a couple wakes up in bed, and then a bunch of robbers come into their room, and they tie them up, and then stuff happens. And then I think the guy dies, but then he wakes up again in the bed again. And he realizes that everything's already happened. And so that guy was developing a new form of a new energy source. And so that was in his house. And so these people were going into the house to try and steal some sort of some energy voucher or something. And they didn't know he had that energy source in there. But every time, so once he realizes that he's in a time loop, he tries to do different things. He tries to affect the outcome of what happens. And then eventually the girl starts to realize that there's a time loop as well. So initially he is only aware of it, and then she becomes aware of it too. And so now they're trying to survive these masked intruders. But it turns out she was actually with the masked intruders, and she was playing him. But then once she realized that there's a time loop, he figures that out, and then they sort of join forces. But the really cool thing is, I'm like, because the time loop happens a whole bunch of times. It happens many, many times, and the outcome is different each time. It was really well written. I feel like it wasn't. I mean, you might think it's repetitive, but it wasn't repetitive. They were able to do different things. But the coolest part about it was eventually the masked intruders started to become aware of the time loop as well. And so now they're all trying to get out of the time loop. And all of the masked intruders, except for one, I think one or two. So the girl was actually, she used to be dating this guy. But then she ended up dating one of the masked intruders. And so she was and so the masked intruders were becoming aware of the time loop. And then so they were all joining forces together in order to try and stop this time loop. But however, one or two of these masked intruders were like really bad guys, and they were only interested in the energy source. But I really like this movie and how it played out. I would definitely recommend this movie. The Discovery, what the heck is this movie? A scientist whose proof of an afterlife caused a rash of... Oh, is that Jason Segel? Yeah, just Jason Segel and Rooney Mara. Okay. Robert, this was a strange movie. I did not understand the ending. A scientist whose proof of an afterlife caused a rash of suicides forges ahead with his research while his disapproving son falls for a troubled woman. Yeah, so this guy, Jason Segel, he goes to visit his father. His father's Robert Redford. He plays a big scientist who apparently is able to prove that there's an afterlife. He somehow is able to put a dead person into this contraption, and they have like sensors on their head, and then you can get like a video. You can get their thoughts onto video. And so he thinks that he's proven that there's an afterlife because he's getting like video data coming out of the sensors on the person's head. And so I forget exactly what happens. Rooney Mara, though, yeah. So what happens is a lot of people start committing suicide because they want to go to the afterlife instead of living in the real world. And Rooney Mara was one of those people. She went to this, so it's on like an island or something. She goes there so that she can kill herself, and she ends up, going in the water. And Jason Segel sees her, and he goes into the water to help her, even though she wanted to die. But I don't really remember exactly what happened. But towards the end of the movie, it became very strange, and I don't even know how to explain it. But I didn't understand the ending of the movie. Clearly, I didn't understand it. I did enjoy the movie, though. And Rooney Mara is really hot. I really like her. I think this was the first Rooney Mara movie I've seen. No, I don't think that's true. I think I want to say I think she was in one of the like Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but I don't know if that's true. I feel like it is though. Anyway, what am I doing now? Locked In. In this crime thriller, a kindly nurse investigates the tragic story behind a patient recently woken from a coma. Famke Janssen, Rose Williams, I don't even know. British? Locked In. Oh, I think I know. Oh, okay, I remember this one. Right. This chick had huge tits. Oh my God. I don't even know what her name is. Rose Williams, it must have been. So I'm just trying to remember. I can remember what the characters were like. This girl, Rose Williams, her character, I think her parents died or something. And so she was sent to Famke Janssen's house to live in. It's like a really old mansion type of thing. Famke Janssen has a son who's like a drug addict or something, and then this I don't even know how to describe it. Kindly nurse investigates the tragic story behind a patient recently woken from a coma. Who was the person in the coma, I wonder? Honestly, I don't know. I wish I would have remembered. For some reason I remember liking this movie though. It was a very nice atmosphere. Like the filming location was really nice. Well, that was a horrible review. Fair play. Oh yeah, this pervasive, a must-see that's utterly heart-pounding in all the best ways. This film about an ambitious couple pushed to the brink is electric. This was like a pretty ridiculous movie. So I think this was a couple, and they both worked at like an investment firm type of work setting. And so this guy was up for promotion. Some guy got fired because he couldn't produce. And then, so he was expecting to get promoted, but then she ended up getting promoted. And so he was feeling a little bit emasculated, I guess. She was feeling drunk with power or something like that. And then this guy like couldn't perform sexually. He was like impotent because she got the promotion over him. And then what happened? Something happened at the end. So I think they were planning on getting, I don't know if they were married yet or not. I think they were. They weren't, but they were getting married. But I don't know. There was like some sort of party for them. A lot of people were invited. They were sort of on the outs when the party happened. They go in the bathroom, and then he suddenly, so then they're arguing, obviously. And then and then they start to kiss for some reason. And then they start to like go further and start having sex. And he can obviously get a boner, but it seems like he's raping her, but she's not doing anything about it. Like that's the only way he could perform or something. It was really weird. I didn't understand this really, but it was kind of a ridiculous movie. I Am Mother. I really enjoyed this movie. This features, what's her name? What the hell is her name? Hilary Swank, yeah. Rose Byrne was in this? What? Huh? No way. I didn't see Rose Byrne in this movie. Maybe she played the voice or something. Maybe I'm just crazy. Anyway, following humanity's mass extinction, a teen raised alone by a maternal droid finds her entire world shaken when she encounters another human. Yeah, so this android or whatever, droid, so I guess the world was taken over by robots or something like, or AI robots. And so there's this teenage girl who's this girl right here. She is in this like compound with this robot here, and this robot here refers to herself as mother, and so she's the mother of this girl. This girl hasn't seen another person ever until one time. Hilary Swank's character is knocking on like the outside door, and so this girl lets her in, and then so she starts telling Hilary Swank starts telling her about how the robots have taken over the world. Meanwhile, this girl, the robots just been nice to her, and like she's the robot's her mother and all that sort of stuff, and so then she wants to break her out of this compound because she thinks that she is being held captive by the robot. And so eventually she does do that. And she also wants to leave because she's never been allowed to leave the compound as well. And so they do leave. And then I get the feeling like, so basically in this compound, there is like a collection of embryos, I guess. And you could see that there were several that were missing. And so she wasn't the first one. And so I think that she was in her spot earlier, and then she escaped. I really like this movie, though. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was really good. Luckiest Girl Alive. This was a pretty dumb movie, in my opinion. It features Mila Kunis. That's why I watched it. But apparently Mila Kunis, she was in like a school shooting or something. She survived a school shooting, and then so she was writing a book about the school shooting, and she worked for like a magazine, for some women's magazine, some trashy women's magazine, and I don't really know how to describe it, but it was pretty stupid. It was like sort of social justice-y, and I don't know if woke is the right word, but it was very modern, 2022. Definitely rubbed me the wrong way, but I ended up watching the whole thing. So Villains, what is this? Oh my god, Villains. This girl, what is her name? Maika Monroe. I love Maika Monroe. I've seen her in 2 things now, I believe. This was, I think, the second thing I saw. 2 blundering bandits meet their match when they break into a house in the woods and stumble on a secret that the homeowners prefer to stow away. So these are bandits, and they're bumbling idiots. There's like an element of comedy to this too. Yeah, comedy. It's like a dark comedy or something, offbeat. She plays, I mean, both of these people, they play the roles very well. I've seen her in another movie that I think we're going to get to eventually, but we may not. That might have been, I might have watched that on Tubi. I don't know. But she's really hot too. But these, so they end up robbing a convenience store, and then they make their getaway, but then their car runs out of gas, like really. They obviously didn't think it through. So then they start walking down like a road in the middle of nowhere, and they come across a house that seems to be, there's no one there. So they break into the house. They start eating food, and then they end up going into the basement. And then there's this young girl sort of chained to something. So she's being held captive. There's a lot of captive stuff in these movies for some reason. And so they're like, what the hell? And, they're just dumbass bandits. They're not people who hold people captive, especially young girls. And so they want to let her go. But then the people who live there come home, and then the people who live there are holding their daughter captive. And so stuff happens. I don't remember how the movie resolved itself, but yeah, I'm definitely a Maika fan. A Micah, I don't know how to pronounce that, but Oculus. It's weird. None of these are What, Karen? Oh, right. Karen Gillan. She's a good one, too. Haunted by a tragic past, her brother Brenton Waits and sister Karen Gillan reunite to confront the evil force that destroyed their family. Okay, I'm trying to think here. So this mirror apparently is like a haunted mirror, and so so they're two young kids, I guess, and their parents. They move into this house with this mirror, and something happens. I think their parents end up dying. Weird stuff starts to happen. And then I think the parents end up dying. And then fast forward a bunch of years, and Karen Gillan somehow acquires this mirror, and they go back to the house, and she apparently the son was sort of having a tough time of it. Her brother, I should say. But they both end up going here, and they're trying to sort of break the spell, I guess, of the mirror. But I remember liking this movie. I really like Karen Gillan. She's good. I think this was the first Karen Gillan movie I've seen. So that was nice. Inheritance. Oh, Lily Collins. She's got like gigantic eyebrows. I don't understand the gigantic eyebrows. But when Lauren's wealthy father dies and leaves her the keys to a hidden bunker on their estate, what she finds could destroy her family and their lives. Yeah, so the father ends up dying. He's like a big wig. I think her brother is running for some sort of political position. She is, I believe, some sort of big time lawyer or something like that. And so the father dies and leaves everyone something. She ends up getting like $1 million, but her brother ends up getting like $20 million. So you think that she got screwed over. But she also gets the keys to this door here. This is a door in the ground, and it leads down into like some type of what? Some hidden, a hidden bunker. And so she goes down in there, and then there's a like a prison cell there. She opens the door, and there's a guy in there who's alive. And then so trying to figure out why he's there. I forget why he's there. There's some sort of reason why he's there, obviously, and why the father never told anyone, but I don't remember what the reason was. But it's like a thriller. So eventually he's trying to prove to her why he's there. She doesn't believe him because it makes her father look like a bad guy. But eventually towards the ending, she lets him out. So he's chained up and stuff. So she lets him out. And I think he tries to kill her or something like that. I'm just trying to think if I liked the movie or not. I think I did. I did not like her eyebrows, though. What is with the chicks these days with their gigantic eyebrows? I don't understand that at all. Like, one of these girls is... what's her name? You know who I'm talking about? What's her name? Steinfeld, Haley Steinfeld. She is really hot. But if you look at her, like a close-up of her face, her eyebrows, they're like styled. She probably has an eyebrow comb because they look like they're combed, and they're combed up. They're not combed to the side. They're combed up. Like, who does this? I don't know. I don't understand. Clearly, I'm out of the times. Stowaway, what is this? Oh, this is some sci-fi movie, right? Yeah. Okay, so Anna Kendrick. I really like Anna Kendrick. Toni Collette, Daniel Day Kim, and more. So these guys are placed down to Earth astronaut facing harrowing in-flight emergency alongside co-stars Toni Collette and Daniel Day Kim. Yeah, so they go into outer space for some reason. I don't remember why. But this guy ends up being stuck in like the overhead compartment or something, like behind some panel. And so, like, I think there was some sort of issue where they wouldn't have enough oxygen in order to make it back to Earth or something like that. And then all of a sudden, for the three of them, and then all of a sudden this guy appears, and now there's four of them. So there's definitely not going to be enough oxygen. And then, so I don't remember exactly what happens. Obviously there's a dispute. But I believe Anna Kendrick's character, I think, sort of sacrifices herself to save the others. I don't know if that's true or not. Something happens though, but I don't remember what. Rebirth. What is this? Oh yeah, I'd never finished watching this. Yeah, this seemed kind of, I didn't understand this. I never watched that. Rebirth. Perfect Getaway. What is this? Oh, I didn't watch this one either. No. Timothy Oliphant. Yeah, I never watched that. Awake. Yeah, this has Gina Rodriguez. I was going to say American Rodriguez. I was thinking of America Ferrera. I did watch this in this dystopian sci-fi thriller. A mother fights to save her family after a global event turns mankind into insomniacs. Yeah, so no one could sleep anymore, I think. Except for, I think, her daughter? Her daughter or her son. I can't remember. But like, so they were... So like barely anyone can sleep. I don't really remember the plot, but no one could sleep. So, you know, everyone was going to die in a matter of days, right? Except for her daughter. Her daughter could sleep and wake up. So that, you know, people could like go to sleep, but then they wouldn't wake up because they died. But the daughter was able to do that. And so the government was really interested in the daughter because the government wanted to sort of experiment on her, figure out why she's able to do that. And I believe, who else is in this? She plays like the lead scientist girl. She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She was in The Machinist. Oh my God. I want to think of the name before I look. She has a boy's name as her like middle name. I can't remember. Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah, that's it. I guess there's two boys' names, Jason and Lee. But so her and her kids are like running away from the military, and I don't really remember how it resolves at the end, but I did enjoy the movie. Unhinged. I don't think I watched this. Unhinged. Russell Crowe. Yeah, no, I did not watch this one. What is this? After a traffic dispute, a single mom must defend herself against a sadistic driver who's hell-bent on turning her commute into a ride laced with terror. Did I watch this at all? I don't recognize this at all. I mean, I recognize the synopsis, but I don't remember watching it all. Red Eye. This features Rachel McAdams. I love Rachel McAdams. Super hot chick. Rachel McAdams. Canadian girl. Good old Canadian girl. She was actually born in the same city that I was born in, London, Ontario. She is like a couple years older than me. I think she was born in either 78 or 80. I forget. So she's a couple years older than me. On an overnight flight to Miami, an emotionally raw hotel manager finds herself ensnared in a menacing passenger's political assassination plot. Yeah, so Rachel McAdams' character is a hotel manager, some sort of swanky hotel manager where sort of high status people will stay at sometimes, including politicians and that sort of stuff. And so Rachel McAdams' character goes on a plane for some reason. She's going somewhere. I don't know why. Don't know where she's going. She may be going to visit her father or something. I don't remember. But then there's this guy here, Cillian Murphy, apparently. He strikes up a conversation with her before boarding the flight, and then, so there's a bit of sexual tension there. It almost seems like a rom-com in the beginning. And then they get on the plane, and then it turns out that they're sitting next to each other. And so, they continue to talk, and, they're getting more cozy with each other. Rachel McAdams' character is obviously, she's really busy with work, so she doesn't have time for a relationship and all that sort of stuff. And then it turns out that this guy was basically holding her father hostage in order to make her give one of these high status political guys a specific room in the hotel, because he him and his band of thieves were going to assassinate that guy. And so he was threatening her with killing her father if she didn't order whoever was working at the hotel to send this political guy in a specific room. And so that was all on the plane. And then a very funny part about this was, so Rachel McAdams' character, she was the hotel manager, and so she had to leave. And so she let like this younger girl sort of take over the hotel manager duties, and she had never done that before. So she was kind of nervous about doing it and all that. And it ends up being this assassination plot. And at the very end, she does a really good job doing it, but she had a really good character as well. I really like this movie. It was very fun. I really like Rachel McAdams. And so eventually, they get off the plane and she runs away from this guy. And she goes to her father's house in order to try and protect him. And then she gets into the house. This is the house she grew up in. And so she goes into her room, and you can see that there's, apparently she played field hockey. So she was a field hockey player. She has her old field hockey stick. She grabs that in order to like beat this guy up and that sort of stuff. But it had photos of Rachel McAdams in a field hockey skirt and field hockey attire. And so, I went on the IMDb page for this movie to see if those were real photos, to see if they mentioned that she actually played field hockey when she was in, like, I don't know, high school or something like that, but it never mentioned anything. So I don't know if those were actually real old photos or if they just staged them for the movie. 'Cause sometimes they will do that. They will show real photos of the actor or actress and add that to the plot of the movie. Anyway, yeah, Rachel McAdams is great. Extinction, what is this? I watched all of it. Lizzie Kaplan, okay. Plagued by dreams of an alien invasion, a family man faces his worst nightmare when an extraterrestrial force begins exterminating Earth's inhabitants. Yeah, so this is like a futuristic city. And then there are these alien sort of lights in the sky, and it ends up being like these flying machines who are shooting into all of the apartment buildings, and they're trying to eradicate all of the humans. And so Lizzie Kaplan, there's a father, a wife, and then their children. Maybe it's just a daughter. I'm not sure. But the father is having these visions of an alien invasion, and then it ends up happening. I don't remember what the resolution was. I think, so they were trying to make it to some sort of factory or some sort of thing, but, they couldn't go outside because of all these alien killing machines. But they do end up getting there eventually, and I think they get onto some train, and I wish I could remember the ending though, but Lizzie Kaplan, very hot girl as well. Extinction, Downsizing. Yeah, so this was Matt Damon. This was a weird movie. Matt Damon, and who is this? Kristen Wiig. Yeah. So suburban couple Paul and Audrey decide to have themselves shrunk and relocate to a miniature city. So this was, it's sort of a comedy, but it's sort of a drama as well. It was really long, 135 minutes, over 2 hours long. And so I never finished it. It sort of jumped the shark like halfway through. But basically, people had the opportunity to sign up for this thing where they could shrink you down. They could shrink you as a person down to a really small size, and then you can go live on some like miniature city. And because you're so small, your bills are much lower because you don't have to buy as much food and all that sort of stuff. So people were doing this for monetary reasons. So it was becoming a thing, like all throughout the world. People were getting shrunk down. Not everyone was doing this, but some people were doing this. And this couple, these people were a couple, and they ended up deciding on doing it as well. And so they get separated, for the shrinking process. Matt Damon ends up going through with it, and he's waiting for his wife on the other side. And it turns out Kristen Wiig's character never ended up going through with it. So now he's alone in this miniature city. He's all shrunk down, and there's no way to reverse it either. So, and then so I watched all of that, and then it got to the part where he's got some sort of party animal neighbor. And then that's when I stopped watching it, I believe. It was kind of interesting, though, but I couldn't finish it. Downsizing, I still know what you did last summer. I've seen this a long time ago. I actually saw this in the theater with my girlfriend at the time, watching Jennifer Love Hewitt, like the hottest chick ever, I think this was either 98 or 97. She was like barely legal Jennifer Love Hewitt. Like the hottest chick ever. Good God. And this movie is fucking horrible. Holy shit, was it ever bad. Jack Black is in this, and his character is so annoying. He plays some like pothead guy with dreadlocks. He is so annoying. But the movie itself was really dumb. But Jennifer Love Hewitt is really hot in it. And obviously she has a couple really nice scenes. There's a scene where she goes into the tanning bed. So she takes her clothes off and she's in a bikini. That was obviously a classic scene. I remember watching that scene with my girlfriend at the time. My girlfriend was really hot too. I thought my girlfriend was the hottest chick ever. And so we're watching it in the theater. That scene comes on and she puts her hands over my eyes. How old would I have been? I was 16? Yeah, I was 16 at the time. She was 15. And what am I trying to say? Yeah, there's another scene in that movie, actually. It may even be Jennifer Love Hewitt's most revealing scene. There's this scene where they make it to the resort, and she has a shower. She gets out of the shower. She's in a robe. And then I think someone knocks on the door or something. So she's going through the hallway or whatever in her room, and then she goes to the front door. But as she's doing that, she's in a robe. She doesn't have a bra on. She's braless, and you can see like subtle nipplage going on. I think that's the most she's ever shown. She is notorious for never having a nude scene, and she's obviously had sexy scenes, but she's never showed the goods. And so I think that is the most she's ever shown. It's a really good scene. Yeah. When was this movie made, by the way? Does it say? How does it not say the year? I'm pretty sure the first one, I Know What You Did Last Summer, was 1997, I feel like. Now, she is a couple years older than me. I don't know if she's 70s or not. Should we check? I still know. 98. Yeah, I knew it was one of those two. Yeah, I wonder should we look at some pictures? Like, look at this. 1998. Yeah, so how old was she, though? I swear she was 70s. She's a 70s baby. Oh, 79. Okay, so she may not have even been 18. How embarrassing would that be? February 21st, 1979. So it came out in 1998. So when it was filmed, I'm assuming she was 18. Jennifer Love Hewitt is one of these girls who she had like her peak was like really early, in my opinion. Throughout her 20s, she turned into a different kind of woman. She went more voluptuous as she was doing Ghost Whisperer. Other girls are, they have a different peak. I mentioned this before, Carrie Russell. She was obviously on the show Felicity back in I think it was the 90s. But then she was on The Americans like more recently, and she's like 40 or even 50. I don't know how old she is, but she is just incredibly hot. So her peak is like, honestly, I think she even looks better now than she did back then. So some girls are like that. Whereas with Jennifer Love Hewitt, she was like the hottest chick ever, but she had like a really early peak. And then there are the girls like Victoria Justice. You know, she's had like throughout her 20s, she's had like a peak, a long peak. And she's like, I think she's 30 now, and she still looks just like that. I just want to see if that scene is in here, is in the pictures. I don't know if I've looked at it. Yeah, that's Jack Black's character. Come on. Good God, like, look at this. Ridiculously hot. By the way, I'm trying to find a picture that shows both of her ears. What? Knife in the head? That must have been a dream sequence. I'm pretty sure I went through all these pictures already, but I can't remember if that scene is in here or not. I'm talking about the robe scene. Oh, Jennifer Esposito's in this movie too. She's really hot as well. That's probably the first time I've seen Jennifer Esposito. It's not looking good. I don't think that scene is in here. That's unfortunate. Okay. Well, I enjoyed looking at those photos. I don't know if you did, but I did. Old. What is this? Oh, is this M. Night Shyamalan? This... I think it is. Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan. So what is the thing here? A vacationing family finds themselves stranded on a secluded beach that has the power to quicken the aging process, slashing their lifespan to 1 day. All right. So yeah, these people go on vacation. They go to a beach, and then they realize that they can only stay in this one specific part of the beach. If they venture beyond the part, then they age extremely rapidly. And so there are several different, there are like a couple different families, and then a couple different people as well. And so they're all trying to figure out what is happening to them. And I don't remember what happens at the very end. I remember what happens at the very end, but I don't remember why all this is happening. So I think two of the people, they eventually like swim out in the water, and then they go into this like coral reef or something like that. And I don't know, if somehow they escape without aging. I don't remember why they were doing this though. Why this was happening. I don't remember. Did I like the movie? I don't think so. But I did watch the whole thing, so maybe I did like it. This is Cam. I know this is like a cam girl movie. After a lookalike takes over her account, a cam girl with a growing fan base sets out to identify the mysterious culprit and reclaim her own identity. Madeline Brewer, she played a cam girl in this movie. So she was one of those annoying cam girl chicks. She does get naked in the movie, and she has a really nice body. She is really hot. But she played this character like really well. She was a really good actress too. So not only was she extremely hot and she showed off her body, she was a really good actress as well. And so the idea was she was doing this, she was being a cam girl, and all of a sudden there was like a lookalike, or someone like took over her account who was identical to her. And she didn't have access to her account anymore, so she wasn't camming. But this other girl who looked exactly like her was using her identity. And then, so she didn't know what was going on. And what happens at the end? Something happened at the end. So she somehow was able to, she wasn't able to get her account back. She like called the account place, and she was locked out of her own account. And then, but somehow she was able to get the attention of this lookalike girl while the girl was on stream. And she somehow made the girl kill herself, or I honestly don't remember what happened at the end. But one thing about the movie that I didn't like was, the way the movie was being portrayed, the way the character, Madeline Brewer's character, was being portrayed, is you were supposed to feel sorry for her by the various things that happened to her in the movie. But, and apparently this movie was written by a former cam girl. And so she was sort of writing her own experiences into this, and she was sort of, she was like the way she, like her relationship with her family and that sort of stuff, how if you become a cam girl, you sort of lose that relationship with your family. You lose respect of people who are close to you and that sort of stuff. But I mean, and so you're supposed to feel sorry for this girl when I don't think you really should feel sorry for her. This has happened before with me when I've been watching movies where you have these people who you're supposed to feel sorry for, but you can't. And so it doesn't really make sense. But Madeline Brewer's character, Madeline Brewer, the actress, she did an excellent job in this movie. And so I did watch the whole thing. Obviously, it was really nice seeing a naked chick, and but I'm glad I watched this movie. Yeah, definitely glad I watched this movie. The Weekend Away. I don't think I did. Did I watch this? Oh, yeah. I watched this movie because of Leighton Meester, but I never finished it. A luxe apartment, lavish meals, boardwalk views. It's a perfect weekend. Leighton Meester is so hot. This was from 2022. Can escape until her best friend goes missing. So it's like a psychological suspenseful. It's a thriller. I don't remember why I stopped watching it, but Selfless, I believe I watched this. Yeah, this was Ryan Reynolds, right? Yeah, I did enjoy this movie. So a dying tycoon has his consciousness transplanted into the body of a healthy young man, only to make a troubling discovery about the body's origin. Yeah, so there's a dying tycoon. So this old guy has a lot of money. He also has a daughter who's sort of like a liberal chick, sort of like a social justice chick. He doesn't understand her lifestyle and all that sort of. So they don't really have much of a relationship. But he's dying, and then he comes across this guy who offers him the opportunity to sort of transplant his consciousness into the body of Ryan Reynolds' character. And so he does that. And then, so now he's young again. But as the movie goes along, Ryan Reynolds' character has these like flashbacks. And so he's supposed to be, so the guy who did this to him, he gives him a bunch of drugs that he's supposed to take for the next month in order to make the transition smoothly. But he keeps having these like flashbacks of not his own life, of who this guy used to be. So apparently this guy, like Ryan Reynolds, he was a different guy. And then the old guy's consciousness got transplanted into this guy's body. And so he was having flashbacks of his previous life. He had a wife, he had a young daughter. And so he goes to find them. And then I think, I don't know if it's the government, some people are going after him. He ends up, so this guy used to be in the military. And so he has like really good gun skills and that sort of thing. So it's like there's an element of action in this as well. Thriller. I really did like this movie. Ryan Reynolds is very likable. He's another Canadian. First time I saw Ryan Reynolds was in the movie, not the movie, was in the TV show The Odyssey back in the early 90s when he was like a teenager. I think he is maybe 2 years older than me, something like that. I don't know. He might be a 70s baby as well. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Oh shit, I removed IMDb. I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. But yes, I did enjoy this movie. And then at the very end, so he has, the old guy has this daughter, and Ryan Reynolds' character eventually sort of, he goes to see the daughter, his daughter. It's the old guy's consciousness in Ryan Reynolds' character. And he says that he was working with her father, and he wanted to say that he's proud of her and all that sort of stuff. It was a very moving scene, very touching scene. And then, but this guy was another guy. And so once he realizes what they're doing, it's not like they're transplanting consciousness into someone new. They're transplanting people's consciousness into people who are already existed. And so the reason he had to take the drugs was to remove the previous consciousness completely. And so he eventually stopped taking the drugs, and then he reverted back to his former to his former consciousness, to the Ryan Reynolds character, and him and his wife and his young child got back together. I did enjoy this movie very much. My nose is plugged up. The Resident. Okay, what is this? Oh, this is, yeah, Hilary Swank. Okay, I also love Hilary Swank. I think she is so hot. So hot. I know there's that episode on The Office about is she hot? It's just such a stupid episode. It's like she is fucking so hot. And she has an amazing body. Oh my God. Incredible body. And her face is hot too. So it's like, I don't understand that episode of The Office. It's stupid. But, but yes, she was also in that movie, I Am Mother, that we talked about earlier. And so this one, a Brooklyn doctor struggles to disentangle herself from her landlord, who has a key to her home and a growing obsession for his tenant. Yeah, so this guy's a landlord. He forms an obsession with her. This is a thriller movie. I don't understand. This is not a British movie. She is a doctor, and so she's looking for a new place to live. She ends up renting a place from this guy, and he like goes into her. So they're like in between the rooms, there are these hallways in between the rooms, and that only he knows about. And so he goes in between the rooms, and then there are like these spy holes. He's spying on her and all that sort of stuff. He may even be putting, no. She eventually puts cameras in her house because she realizes that she's being drugged and weird stuff is happening. And so I don't think he actually rapes her, but he does do very creepy stuff to her while she's sleeping. And I know there's this one scene where she's in a bathtub. There are no nude scenes, but there's I think there's like a braless scene, but she's very hot girl. And I think she ends up winning in the end, obviously. I don't know if she kills him or not. She probably does. I very much enjoyed that movie, though. I like thriller movies. I very much enjoy thriller movies. Insomnia, what is this? Oh, this is another Hilary Swank movie. I was going after all the Hilary Swank movies. I believe that, what is her name? Catherine Isabelle is in this movie as well. Catherine Isabelle, she plays like one of the younger people. I forget what her character is. She's a very hot girl. She is another Canadian girl. She's, I think, West Coast girl. We talked about her in the Prime Video. So this is Al Pacino, Robin Williams, sent to an Alaskan town to help solve a murder. A sleep-deprived LA detective starts to unravel as he engages in a cat and mouse game with a wily killer. Yeah, so there's serial killer in Alaska, obviously. Al Pacino's the head detective. He's sort of on the outs because he's not a dirty cop, but he bends the rules in order to catch these bad guys who are legitimately bad guys, right? And so Hilary Swank's character, she's also a detective, but I believe she works for the Alaskan police force, and she's younger, she plays by the book and all that sort of stuff. And eventually he figures out who the killer is, and it's Robin Williams. Robin Williams, he plays the evil person, what's that word? Not the hero, but the villain. He plays a really good villain. He was also in the movie 1 Hour Photo or 24 Hour Photo, something Hour Photo. And I really like that movie as well. He plays that type of character really well, even though he's known for comedy, but he does that, the villain is really well as well. And so he eventually catches Robin Williams, and she helps as well. And I think Al Pacino's character ends up dying. So he gets insomnia because I think it's his, what's the word? It's eating away at him. How he's not, it's not corrupt. I guess he is slightly corrupt. His corruption is eating away at him, so he can't sleep. But yes, I did enjoy this movie. I remember seeing a little bit of it a while ago, like a long time ago, several years ago. Insomnia, Shutter Island. I'd never finished this. This had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, I believe. Yeah, it was sort of, and Mark Ruffalo. It was set in the 50s, I think, something like that. I never finished watching that. The Game, what is this? The Game. Oh, yeah, you gotta love those Michael Douglas thrillers. Oh, yeah. Love the Michael Douglas thrillers. Is The Game a prank or something much darker? Michael Douglas stars as a banker whose orderly life unravels when he receives an odd birthday gift. Yeah, so his brother is kind of a screw up, and the brother ends up giving him a birthday gift, and it's like a voucher. So he goes to the address, and it's this company who's offering him the chance to participate in a game. And so he had to do some sort of test, like a mental test, a physical test, and then he would be contacted by them eventually. And so then he starts being contacted. This thing, I think, what is the game exactly? So it's basically this company is just fucking with him. Like it's a very elaborate game where they like, Michael Douglas feels like he's being chased, he's being trying to be killed, and I feel like he thinks that his brother got killed by the same company. I don't know how to express this, but he's being fucked around with the whole movie, and he thinks it's real. And then I did not like the ending of the movie, but the very end of the movie, I think he was going to jump off a building, or someone was going to jump off a building. And then right at the end there, a door opens and everyone comes out, they're clapping. And they're like, oh no, it's just this is just a joke. It's part of the game. And then the ending was pretty dumb, but the movie itself was really good. The Michael Douglas thrillers are really good. Disturbia, this was Shia LaBeouf. I never finished watching this. Time Trap. I remember what this is. Which one is this? Screw off. Oh my God. Fucking piece of shit, man. Why does that happen? Like, go fuck yourself. So that's twice now that it's happened. To find their missing professor, a group of students ventures into the cave where he disappeared and uncover a bizarre mystery that alters their reality. Yeah, I did enjoy this one. Yeah. So some professor goes into a cave and disappears. And then like a group of students go in to the cave as well. But then like parts of the caves are different time periods. So like you travel back in time if you go into one specific, like there's some sort of space-time continuum thing that's going on. And oh, I remember now. So if you go into the cave, time in the cave goes by way quicker. So if you're in the cave and then you go back out of the cave, it's like outside of the cave is way further in the future. So there's this part where they go down into the cave and they're looking up and they see the sun going like back, like they just going, like the days are just going by in a split second. Because eventually one of them is able to escape out of the cave and everything looks completely different. And then she comes back down and then she was gone for 30 minutes and she comes back down and her friends are like, oh, you were literally gone for just 5 seconds. So there's definitely a time mismatch. And I think at the end, like some alien comes down and rescues them. And I really liked that movie. I feel like it was a low budget movie, but I really liked it. Time Trap, Don't Breathe. What is this? Don't breathe. He's blind and rich, the perfect target for robber. Oh, this, yeah, but the tables turn when 3 teen thieves find themselves in a lethal game of cat and mouse. This is another one of those movies where you're supposed to feel feel sorry for the main characters, but they're horrible characters. And so these 3 teenagers, they pick this blind guy, this blind ex-military guy, to rob because he can't see, and he lives in this like part of town that's really bad, and no one lives in there anymore. And so they think he's an easy target. Apparently, he has a lot of money for some reason. I'm not sure why, but something's going on with my nose. I got this mucus, like this bunch of mucus that I can't. Anyway, so the movie's trying to portray. So this girl right here, she has a boyfriend, and then they have this other friend. The other friend, I feel like, is like the really bad guy. He's the one who carries a gun and he's really interested in all that stuff. She doesn't have a lot of money, and she has a young sister or something. She's looking after her young sister, and her and the boyfriend, they want to move away, but they just need some money. But they're fucking thieves, right? So how are we as an audience supposed to feel sorry for them? This is one of those things that I don't understand. And so, I mean, I ended up watching almost half the movie. They end up breaking into the guy's house, but the guy is able to fight back. And I think he kills one of the guys. And then and then you find out that the blind guy has a girl chained up in the basement. And so now you're supposed to feel sorry for these people because the blind guy's actually worse. I don't understand this. So I mean, I never finished it. It bothered me more than anything. Anon, I remember liking this. Who was the guy? Who was the main character? It wasn't Gerard Butler. It was Clive Owen. Amanda Seyfried was in this. I believe she's naked in this movie. Was she naked in this movie? I don't remember. It may not have been this movie. It may have been another movie, but I like this movie. This was in a future where technology has rendered privacy obsolete. A detective investigates a serial assassin who has been deleted from all visual records. By the way, Amanda Seyfried was in Mean Girls. Rachel McAdams was in Mean Girls. Lizzie Kaplan was in Mean Girls. So we've come across those actresses in this video so far. I don't think we're going to be coming across Lacey Chabert. I don't think there's a Lacey Chabert movie in this, unfortunately. But there's a lot of Mean Girls people. Mean Girls references in this. So, yeah, a detective investigates a serial assassin who has been deleted from all visual records. So people, I guess they have an implant. And so everyone is accounted for. You're walking down the street and you can focus on someone and it'll list all the information about them, like in their, like you look at someone and it tells you about them in your eyes or something like that. Right. And then, so no one has any privacy anymore except this person. People keep dying. And so this detective doesn't know why that's happening. And then they eventually figure out that there's like an underground hackers. I think Amanda Seyfried plays an underground hacker where you could hire them in order to, like if you want to cheat on your wife or something, you would hire this person to remove all evidence of you cheating on your wife from your memory or something like that. There's also memory stuff that you can access your memories whenever you want, stuff like that. Now, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember how this movie ended, but I remember liking it. It was a very interesting movie. I like that. Ex Machina. This was another interesting movie. This one had some very nice nudity as well by, I don't know, Alicia Vikander, I guess. Dakota at a tech company wins a week-long retreat at the compound of his company's CEO where he's tasked with testing a new artificial intelligence. So he's got this compound in the middle of nowhere and a coder gets brought over to test out his AI. And the one thing I didn't like about this movie was the CEO guy was he drank a lot. So it didn't make sense to me, at least. He was supposed to be this brilliant guy, which he was obviously, but then he had a drinking problem and I don't know. But he had created a bunch of these different AIs and this was the newest one, I guess. And the coder was tasked with just interacting with her. And so this one, I believe she was causing these sort of malfunctions in the compound where it would interrupt the cameras. So everything was being filmed at all times. And the CEO was watching his interactions with the AI. And so she was somehow able to disrupt the cameras. And then she was trying to talk the coder into letting her out. And so that, they could escape the compound because the CEO wasn't treating her that well. So basically the CEO he had previous AI girls and I guess he was, using them for sex and stuff like that. And eventually she talks the coder into letting her out, breaking her out. But then, the only reason she was doing that was because she wanted to leave. She didn't want anything to do with humans, I guess, or with them at least. And so she eventually escapes and she makes it into some sort of big city. Anyway, you've probably heard of this movie. I thought this was a good movie, except for the whole drinking thing. Annihilation. How long is this? I don't know how long this video's been. I think I started around 8. I did not watch this one. The Babysitter Killer Queen. Okay, so The Babysitter and The Babysitter Killer Queen. I did enjoy these movies. These were dark comedy horrors. Comedy horror movies, yeah. Featuring, what's her face? Was she not in this one? Oh, she must have been in the second one. Okay, so I don't even know what her name is. I forget what her name is. This one features a bunch of people. Okay, so the babysitter. So what is the thing here? What is the plot for this one? So this kid gets a babysitter, obviously. I think this is the babysitter. And then it turns out this girl is like part of a satanic cult or something, and they're trying to do something. The guy sees them, and then all hell breaks loose, and they're trying to kill him, and then I think he ends up killing some of them. I did enjoy the movie, but the Babysitter Killer Queen, it has... Who the fuck is this? Jenna Ortega. Yeah. This was the first movie I've seen Jenna Ortega in. She's really hot. Super hot girl. The one thing I didn't like about... This is the sequel. One thing I didn't like about this one is I think this is supposed to be like the guy grown up. I feel like it might even be the same guy. I don't know if that's true or not. I think it is. Judah Lewis? That must be him, right? Come on. Yeah, Judah Lewis. It must be. So the one thing I didn't like about the sequel was the babysitter didn't appear until the very end of the movie. Samara Weaving, I think, is her. She was really good in the first one. She played this like cool chick, but she didn't appear until the very end of this movie, unfortunately. Okay, Murder by Numbers. This is a... What the hell is her name? Sandra Bullock movie. I seen this a long time ago. This is from like over 20 years ago. A homicide detective and her still green partner investigate two cold, calculating killers who are ready to outsmart the police. Yeah, so there are a bunch of killings. Sandra Bullock plays a detective. So does this guy here. She is like a cold bitch. Sandra Bullock's character. And there are these two high school kids. I think Ryan Gosling is one of them. Ryan Gosling, by the way, another good old Canadian guy. He was also born same place as I was, London, Ontario. Also the same place that Rachel McAdams was born, and London, Ontario. And weren't they in a movie together? Weren't they in The Notebook? That was some sort of romantic movie, romantic drama. And were they even dating at one time? So anyway, there are these two guys. Yeah, Ryan Gosling's character is more of the, like, I don't know if he's a jock or not, but then there's this like nerdier guy. He's more awkward, but they end up sort of teaming up to do this murder, to doing, I don't know if it's one murder or more murders. I think it's more murders, but eventually the cops figure out who the bad guy is. I forget who the bad guy actually is. I can't remember, to be honest, but I did enjoy that movie. I really love Sandra Bullock. Love Sandra Bullock. Trying to think of the first thing I saw Sandra Bullock in. I don't remember. May have been Speed. It may have been Demolition Man. I don't think I saw Demolition Man until later. So, but that was one of her earlier roles, Demolition Man. I love that movie. Lenina Huxley, that's the character she played under there. Under the Skin, this was featuring Scarlett Johansson. So this is a seductive alien prowls the streets in search of prey, unsuspecting men who fall under her spell only to be consumed by a strange liquid pool. Yeah, so this is a notable movie for Scarlett Johansson fans because she has several nude scenes in this movie, and she's obviously a really hot girl. And this movie was very strange. Very strange. I loved it at the beginning. It, like the opening part of the movie, it involves, it's supposed to be her character riding a motorcycle. And then the music in the background, it just sounds really nice. The camera is static and it shows her like way off in the distance, and eventually she comes to the foreground. But Very strange movie. So the whole thing, she has this motorcycle. She also has a van. I guess she keeps her motorcycle in the back of the van, but she goes around this city trying to lure men into her van. And then she takes them to some sort of building. And while in the building, she sort of tries to seduce them to have sex. And so they all get undressed. But the building is like, it's all black on the inside. It's very abstract and very surreal. So she starts walking forward, and then she waits for them to walk forward. And then, so they start walking forward, but they end up going down into like this black liquid. And I don't know what she's doing exactly. I never finished this movie because it was a little too much. And so apparently I read about this actually. So when she was trying to lure the men into her van, that was actually all, it was improvised and it was all spontaneous. So the guys who she was luring in, they weren't even actors. So she had like a hidden camera in her van, and then she would drive around. It was like in Britain somewhere. It was British. She would talk to these guys on the side of the road and try to lure them inside the van. And then, so those conversations apparently were all improvised and completely real. And then I'm assuming after they finished that part, and then after they did a bit of driving, then they told them that this is actually a movie and do you want to be in the movie? And then after that, I'm assuming they filmed their scene where they would have to go into the where they had to take their clothes off and go down into the black liquid, which is, it's a cool idea to do those improvised things. But as for watching a movie, I wasn't really interested in watching the movie. I did like the weirdness of it. I think my favorite part was the very beginning, where with the music. However, obviously, another favorite part is seeing Scarlett Johansson naked. Obviously, she used to be married to Ryan Reynolds. We've talked about him. Hey, so we have ex-husband and wife in movies. Truth or Dare, I remember really liking this movie. In this horror film, a supernatural entity forces 8 friends to play a fatal game of Truth or Dare. So this was about a bunch of college kids, and they end up going to this, I think they like rented out this house or something, or maybe they didn't rent it out. It was one of the college kids. It was like their grandparents' house or something like that. So they go to this house. Apparently at the very beginning of this movie, someone is doing like playing a game of Truth or Dare, and they end up like putting acid on their head or something. I don't know, but I really, really like this movie. So all the kids go here to just basically to party and to have a good time. And so they do that. And then I don't know why they started playing Truth or Dare, but basically there's like some sort of supernatural presence in the house. If it isn't the house itself, I'm not sure, but they realize that they have to start playing Truth or Dare. And so like the first Truth or Dare thing was pretty easy, but then it started to really ramp up in difficulty. And if you didn't do what your dare was, then you would be punished by the house or something. And so it got to the point where, they were all dying off. And then I think someone ended up living at the end, at least one person, but it just kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And they had to do it, because if they didn't do it, then they would be punished by the house. I'm trying to think of one thing that they had to do. Yeah, one of them, I think you had to like remove teeth. Another one was, I don't remember what another one was. But there was also truth. And so basically there were these cards, and you'd have to read what it said on the card. And each card was sort of tailored for whoever was doing it at the time, whoever had to answer the question. And I think like one of them, it was a girl who was cheating on her boyfriend with someone else in the friends group or something like that. I forget. But yeah, I really like this movie. Life. This was an outer space movie. Right, another Ryan Reynolds movie. Jake Gyllenhaal. And who is this? Rebecca Ferguson? I don't know who that is. The discovery of a single-celled organism in a sample from Mars causes excitement until the life form starts displaying signs of intelligence. So these guys discover a single-celled organism and they bring it aboard, and it's sort of like it's in its own secure area, but then it eventually escapes, and then it causes havoc. It eventually kills someone, and so what happens actually? Something happens. I'm trying to think what happens. So the organism keeps killing everyone on the ship. I mean, there's only a couple people on the ship. I think it kills one person, and then they're trying to escape, and they're trying to go back to Earth. And then so you think, so I really like the ending of this movie. They're being terrorized by this organism, and so then they escape like in an escape pod in order to go back to Earth. And then I think they wanted to send the other escape pod out into space so that this organism would never come near Earth because it was really dangerous. And so you think, as the movie's ending, that they send the organism into outer space, and then they send the people, the last surviving astronauts, down into the water in Asia somewhere. But then it turns out that the people, the survivors, ended up being sent out into outer space, and that the organism was sent down to Earth. So I really like that twist ending. Gotta love the twist endings. Outer Limits has a lot of twist endings. So that was a good movie. How many more do we have? We still have a few more. Not too many. Okay, we're almost there. The Mist. I've seen this before. Yeah, I never watched it. I watched it back in the day. I don't know when I watched it. Probably around 2008. I think I watched it. But I started watching this, and then I realized, oh, I've seen this before. So I stopped watching it. What else do we have? Scream 6? Yeah, so I started watching this. I didn't finish it, though, because it seemed kind of dumb. It also features Jenna Ortega. I didn't know Courtney Cox was in this. It seemed kind of dumb, I think. I'm not sure why, but I couldn't finish it. So what is this? Scream 5? Scream 2? Scream 3? I watched the original Scream. When did I watch it? I watched it recently, I mean. Not like within the last several months. And that's what sort of made me want to watch this. But I never finished it. But maybe I'll watch Scream 2. I'll watch Scream 3. I don't think Scream 4 is available, but... or 5, I guess. The Craft Legacy... I tried watching this, but this was not my thing. It's sort of like, it's a too modern version. It's like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I fucking hate this bullshit, man. Hey, I didn't have to resize anything. Okay, that's good. Does anyone know why this is happening? I mean, you probably can't even see it. So this is I don't know if it's a recreation or a sequel to the original The Craft from the 90s, but high school students with supernatural gifts form a coven of witches, but struggle to control their dark powers in the sequel to the cult classic. This seemed like it was too girly, I guess I should say, and it seemed more for like a teen. Maybe the original one was like that too, but I feel like it wasn't. I mean, I watched the original one before I watched this one. I watched the original one back in the 90s as well, and I liked it. But, I mean, I tried watching this, and I didn't get very far, so I just ended up stopping. Then we have the original The Craft. This is a favorite. So it's got Neve Campbell, it's got Fairuza Balk, it has Robin Tunney, and it's got Rachel True. I think that's Rachel True, yeah. Rachel True also was in another movie. What the hell was it called? Oh no, this is the movie I'm thinking of. But she was in something else. I swear she was in something else. Because I referenced The Craft. It was probably in my Amazon Prime Video. But yeah, at a Catholic school. Gotta love the Catholic school girls. A new girl falls in with a clique of teen witches who wield their powers against anyone who crosses them, even their parents. Yeah, so I really like this movie. So these are all witches, except for her. She moved into town, and she was the only real witch. So the other three girls were trying to be witches. They just were like witches as a hobby. And then this girl, Robin Tunney's character, could actually move stuff with her mind, and she actually had powers. And so then they were able to they were able to tap into her power and use actual spells and stuff like that. And Fairuza Balk's character ends up being the evil witch. And so, but at the very end, I think Robin Tunney's character wins. And I think all these girls are really hot. So Neve Campbell, obviously from Scream, obviously from Party of Five. Actually, she was, I'm trying to think of the first thing I saw her in. I'm not sure, but she was also in an episode of, maybe at least one episode of Kids in the Hall back in the early 90s or late 80s. I'm not sure. Fairuza Balk, she was in The Waterboy. She was Vicky Valancourt. She played Vicky Valancourt. She's got some nice hard nipples in that movie. Robin Tunney, she was in The Mentalist. And she was also actually an interesting point about The Mentalist. Not The Mentalist, but Robin Tunney's character. I've got been having some pains in my midsection. It's not good. Robin Tunney's character, she was in the movie, I don't know what it's called, Empire Records, I think. Just before doing this movie. And so she was bald in that movie. And she was bald in this movie, actually, and she had to wear a wig, apparently. I read that in the trivia. And Rachel True is in another movie that I don't know what it was, though, because I can't remember it. But yeah, very good movie. Now he's doing the Final Destinations. The Final Destination, Final Destination 2, Final Destination 1. I don't know if Final Destination 3 is available for streaming. I think this is either 4 or 5. I'm not sure. More like this. I don't even know if these other ones are available anymore. This one is not. The one great thing about the Final Destination movies are the kills. The kills are pretty extreme. So that's my favorite part about the Final Destination movies. They have some extreme kills. I actually own the third one on DVD. The third one has the really nice tanning booth. The double tanning booth kill, where the two naked girls sort of fry in the tanning booth. So it's Shalon Simmons and Crystal Lowe. So who is in this? Someone I really like is in this. AJ Cook. Yeah, AJ Cook is in this. Who else? Ali Larder's in this as well. Yeah, AJ Cook, Canadian girl. Neve Campbell is also a Canadian girl, by the way. And who was in the first Final Destination? Ali Larder was in this one as well, right? Yeah. Sean William Scott was in this. That's funny. Tony Todd. Okay, we're almost done. 1408. This was the first movie I watched. Not the first one. Yeah, so I started watching the scary movies I went to Netflix after Tubi, but then I switched to something else. Maybe I went back to Tubi. And then I came back to Netflix, I guess. But 1408, so in the Stephen King thriller, a writer and paranormal debunker is determined to demystify the ghostly events in room 1408 of the Dolphin Hotel. I actually own this on DVD. There was a reason why I own it on DVD. I can't remember why. So, by the way, where's Google? Here it is. 1408. Oh, 1408. I used to go to so when I would go to the grocery store, they would have this display of DVDs. And I would look through it because oftentimes you could get a movie for quite cheap, even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. And so I would take a look at it, and there was something that, and so I got this. It's right on the tip of my tongue, the name of this DVD. It was a 5-pack of DVDs. It had 5 movies on it. 1408 was one of them. Anthology, is it the horror anthology? I don't think so. No. The something anthology. 1408 anthology DVD. Come on. The Haunted Anthology. Yeah. Okay. That's the one I got. The Haunted Anthology. All right, here we go. John Cusack plays he writes reviews about these supposedly haunted places, but he's a critic. He's a skeptic, I should say. He doesn't believe in it. He just writes it as a way to make a living. And so apparently this room 1408 at this specific hotel is supposed to be extremely haunted. And so Samuel L. Jackson's character is he runs the hotel. He's trying to talk John Cusack's character out of actually staying in the room. You can't actually stay in the room. It's boarded up, or that's not boarded up, but people aren't allowed to stay in it. But because bad stuff, apparently it's like haunted. Anyone who stayed in the room before has died, and so John Cusack's character eventually talks Samuel L. Jackson's character into letting him stay in there, and eventually, weird stuff starts to happen. And yeah, I really like this movie. Really cool movie. By the way, Megan. I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie here. Megan. I mean, I think I talked about it in my Amazon Prime Video. I must have. Yeah, I totally did. Because I was like, we haven't seen this yet in my list. And then we have the scary movies, comedy horror, I guess. So I watched these, and this is the last one. So I didn't watch A Drop of Blood, and this is Star Trek Voyager. This is, if I show more, it's just all Voyager. So I was going through Voyager. I would watch 1 episode, 2 episodes a day. Yeah. So A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the last one. I think Rooney Mara is in this. Yeah, Rooney Mara. So we have 2 Rooney Maras. So this remake of the cult 80s slasher fleshes out Freddy Krueger's origin story when his teen victims uncover their link to his horrifying past. Now, I want to watch all of these. All of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all of the Halloween movies, all of the... What's the other one? There's a third one, right? So there's Jason Voorhees. There's Freddy Krueger. Isn't there someone else? Michael? No. Jason Voorhees. I don't know. I did like this one, A Nightmare on Elm Street, though. I did like this movie. So I don't really have anything to say about it. I mean, you know the origin story of Freddy Krueger. If you go to sleep, then he kills you in your sleep. So there's my video. Under 2 hours. I hope it was under 2 hours. Was it under 2 hours? Yes. Hour 50. Pretty long. I don't think I was any more concise than I was last time. I was probably even worse. Even less concise. But I don't know if you enjoyed these movies. But next time, not next time, but we will eventually go on Tubi.com. We will go through some movies. And I will try and do some reviews of those movies as well. So until then, stay safe.